Hi everyone, this is Anna with the Paint Mixer, and today I'll be guiding you through one of our kind of classic paintings called Daisy Days. So just making sure we have everything set up. We have our butcher paper down from our Creativity to Go kit, our little canvas. Also make sure your palette, which is actually this little cardboard shirt board, it has your paint loaded up. So I'm using the paint from our deluxe kit, which are these little tubes, but you can also use our standard kit, which are our little paint pots in the primary colors. So both will work great in creating our daisies today. Also make sure you have some nice clean water close by, and depending on which brushes you're using, they could look like mine, which are vintage paint mixer brushes. They've seen some love. Or you might have some brand new awesome brushes. So whatever brushes you're using, I'll be referring to the Mama, which is the larger, and the Baby, which is the smaller. So starting out nice and easy with my baby brush, the little one, I'm going to pick up some yellow. Now, I'm just going to be kind of sketching where the center of my daisies are going to be. So I'm going to put one over here on the side. One is going to be up here in the corner. And one more down on this side. And it doesn't have to be, exactly where I put them. This is just a guide so I know where to orient my petals from. So nice and easy, those are going to be the centers of our flowers. And we're going to start with this one on the far left first, filling in the petals. Now, depending on how you feel about brush size, you can use either brushes to make the petals. So this first flower is going to be red. So I'm going to do my Mama brush here. And in the deluxe kit you have vermilion and crimson red. But if you have the regular standard kit, you can use your bright red and mix it with yellow for some oranges. But just going to be, need a little water on your brush. That's also a tip. Make sure your brushes are always hanging out in the water when you're not using them, and that their bristles are a little moist. That will help the paint flow over the canvas. Now, it doesn't matter how many petals you add. The one thing I do want to stress is that your petals go further than you think. So even if you want your flower to be really itty bitty, take these petals further away so that whenever we create the petals in the other ones, they can overlap each other. So you don't have weird white space kind of hanging out. So I started with kind of this orangish color. This is color number 1. Now I'm going to maybe pick up a little darker red. Now don't be afraid to mix colors. If you want, you can always add a little dark brown or black to your red so that it is deeper color. So just going layer 2. And sometimes it's fun to mix up the shape of your petal. So maybe starting on the outside and pulling in, so you have like a really defined end of your petal. And I'm using the bigger brush, but if you feel most comfortable with your small brush, stick with the small brush. And just kind of going along, making sure my brush still has a little water on it. I'm really liking this method of starting far away and then pulling in. And you really get a nice, cute little end of your petal that's round. The Mama brush has a rounded edge, so that's reflected in the brush stroke. Okay, so my last color, and I might switch to the baby brush for this one just to show you, is going to be some white mixed in with any red or orange that you have. And we're just going to add some little highlights. Now my red is still a little damp, so that white is really going to become pink. When the two colors are wet, they like to mix and be friendly with each other. So just adding as much highlights as you think you'll need. And I am just going to make sure I don't have any weird white spots around the center of my flower. Alright, I feel pretty good about this. I don't have too much white space left to cover, so I can cover those with my other colors of flowers. So now I will just let this dry. So you can find a hair dryer. Now's a good time to get a snack or just, walk around your house. Or you can shake it like so. This is a good method for drying quickly. Also, while I have this, I'm going to paint my side edges this red color of my flower, just to continue the color. Makes it look really professional. So anything you put on the front can continue onto your sides. You don't have to do this right now. You can maybe do it at the end, but I will meet you back here once this flower is dry to the touch. All right, see you soon. Awesome. All right, so your flowers should all be dry. So we are going to move on to flower number 2 up here in the right corner, and this flower is going to be yellow. So same method as our previous flower, just making sure our brush is nice and clean. And I want to show you something, because check this out. If I do pure yellow and go over top of our red, it's kind of invisible, right? It needs some white. So white is like a primer. So I might start off with just some white to kind of block out my yellow flower. And again, if I start out and pull in, I have a nice rounded tip of my petal. Or if I flick it out, I have kind of spiky, almost like firework tips. So this might require a decent amount of white. I'm going to reload here. And think of it kind of like nail polish, or like if you're painting a wall in your house, sometimes you need more than one coat. So if you need more than one coat, you can always let it dry a little bit and then come back and layer it. So now I have it's mostly white, only a little bit of yellow. Now I can start to pull in some brighter yellows, radiating outward from my flower center. And I like to do a little bit of kind of more natural tones too. So for the deluxe kit, that would be this yellow, what is this, yellow ochre? Gotta make sure I get the name right. It is, yep, yellow ochre. Now, if you have the standard kit, all you have to do is add a little bit of red into your yellow. It's kind of like a warm orange. Awesome, liking the way this looks. Good stuff. Now, I don't have to add any highlights really, because I already did all my white. But if you want to do maybe like a darker shadow, you can always pick up a little bit of, tiny bit of black or some of this dark brown, mix it with your yellow, and that way you can get some darker tones, almost like a shadow. I think it goes a long way. Has to be light and dark at the same time. Awesome. And remember, if you need another coat, let it dry, come back and do the same thing. But I am going to let mine dry before moving on to our last flower. Okay, final flower. You should probably have the hang of it by now, but same deal, but this time in shades of blue. And I've got 2 blues here with the deluxe kit. This starting with cobalt right here. It's kind of the more milky of the 2. And same deal as the other colors, white really helps these colors show up over top of the darker reds, and even the yellow can be kind of hard to see sometimes. Now picking up some ultramarine too. Oh, a little paint chunk on there. And remember, water is definitely our friend, helping the paint flow really smoothly. Now need some more white. See how the white really blocks out the red beneath it? Now's your chance. If you have any weird white spots, I'm going to attack them with color. And cover them with petals. Alright, so with my little brush now, I'm going to mix up some darker blue. So blue plus a tiny bit of black. A little goes a long way. And just kind of, I got maybe too much black on there. But just kind of reinforcing the shapes of your petals, creating some shadow. I kind of like to put the shadows closest to the center almost like another layer of little petals. Awesome. So now with the brush in hand, we can start to fill the little centers of our flowers. So in any natural colors, in the deluxe kit you have this burnt sienna, which is kind of a reddish orange. I'm going to start with that, just dabbing on the centers. And if you have any funny business where your petals, you know, maybe came to a funny line, you can kind of cover them up now. And check this out, a little black on there while it's still wet. And see how it starts to become 3D just by putting the black around the perimeter and dabbing. Awesome. So keeping this up. Now, if you have the standard kit, you're going to mix up some yellow, a little bit of red, so you kind of have an orange, and some black makes that burnt sienna color. And just dabbing. I'm kind of lazy, so I'll swirl it first, just get that color all over there. And then I'll hit it with some nice dabs. Now, if you like yellow, you can add some more golden yellow to the center. But make sure you go back with some darker brown or black around the outside. And get that texture like you see on real daisies. Alright, last one. Dabbing away. You don't have to think too much about it, but this is a good time to maybe step back from your painting. See what these centers of the flowers look like when you're a little further away. Trust me, they will make a lot of sense when you step back from them. And can't forget that little darkness on the edge. Awesome. So simple. So cute. So springy. Well, hopefully your yard or your garden has some real flowers soon. Mine is still covered in snow. But until then, definitely keep painting. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your support during these times, and we're just so excited that you create with us. Have a wonderful day.
So one last thing before we leave each other, don't forget to post your painting on social media and share all the beautiful things you've made. So our Instagram is @the_paintmixer, and anything that you have made while you've been at home, we'd love to see, and keep looking for other paintings that we'll be offering throughout this time. Thank you so much.